This is Brother Greatness, and you're listening to the best podcast, A Shot of Wrestling, on Spotify and everywhere you get your podcast. New episodes drop every Monday.
Are you ready?
Is that the message you got? We about to go live, are you ready to rock? So take a shot, boy. Is that the message you got? From the fans to the fans, let me hear the crowd pop. So take a shot, boy. Is that the message you got? We about to go live, are you ready to rock? So take a shot, boy. Is that the message you got? From the fans to the fans, let me hear the crowd pop. So take a shot. Oh yeah, so take a shot. Oh, so take a shot. Oh, so take a shot.
All right, everyone, what is up? It is me, your favorite actor, the Hollywood assassin, Mark Swan, and this is a little awkward for me. Usually, I'm very professional. I'm going to do my best to keep it together here. Never interviewed someone I despised before, but here we are, ladies and gentlemen, the BWF Cruiserweight Champion, Brother Greatness.
Hallelujah and amen. Thank you so much, Brother Mark. I'm glad we're able to sit down together, break bread via podcast together, and become closer as individuals and brothers on a spiritual level right here on A Shot of Wrestling. This is beautiful.
I must have been quarantined for way too long to agree to do this.
Love it. So excited to sit here and talk to you, my brother.
How have you been holding up?
Things have been good on my side. It's a lot of praying, a lot of working out, and a lot of eating food. Just trying to gain weight and just pray for the people who are taking a lot of losses. You know, a lot of people have passed, regrettably. Obviously, a lot of people recovered, thank the Lord, and just trying to stay focused on the positive versus the negative.
Absolutely. Well, Brother Greatness, putting our personal feelings aside here, I've been paying attention to what you've been doing, and I see you've been holding prayer services and everything during this time, and I think that is actually amazing what you're doing there. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think I did 3 of them so far, and the first one was it's just something I felt like I really needed to do. Just because there was a lot of people reaching out to me, just saying, "Hey, listen, I'm not spreading this all over the planet, but my sister has COVID. My brother, my friend, all these people were sick, and a lot of people kept it to themselves. A few people reached out to me like, "Hey, pray for me," and I tend to get that a lot in general. Someone just says, "Pray for me." Privately, it's what it is, but a lot of people reached out. Personally, I was struggling with what was going on with Alfred.
Right.
Alfred Parsard. I just felt like the first time I did, I just said, "Hey, maybe doing this live might be helpful." They say in the Bible, when 2 and 3 are gathered together, an agreement of a thing, that thing will be done in the name of the Lord. I'm kind of paraphrasing the verse a little bit, but
right. The first time you did that was like right when the news got out about Alfred, right?
Yeah. It was around the same time.
Yeah, and that hit the indie wrestling community pretty hard because anyone that's worked with Alfred just knows he's such a good guy. Someone's a pleasure to be around, and he's hardworking. And to see that happen to him, and you see the picture, the visual of him, like struggling with that. It's one thing to hear about it, but to see it, it just really it throws you off.
Yeah, no, it was terrible, and outside the ring, he's legitimately my best friend. We're at each other's houses all the time. We know each other's families. Both our mothers love each other. Like, it's a whole thing. So it was rough. I'm not going to say it's the roughest thing going on. I knew a few people who lost their parents and all that kind of stuff. But it was just that specific one kind of hit home for a lot of people. And Alfred also was always, pray for me. I was like, you know what? Let's just put it out for the world to see. And that's how the first one happened. The second one was a member of his family reached out to me when Alfred was looking really, really dark and straight up said, "Hey, can you do this? Do what you did again on Facebook Live, please." And in the midst of my crying, I tried to do it. Had family in my home. We all live in a big complex. So some family come into my section of the home and just kind of help me get through. And then the third one, which not as many people were on, was just thanking God for getting Alfred through, getting a lot of people through, and just praying that the people who took a loss, that their souls would still be all right. The idea of it is well with my soul despite everything going on. So it's been rough and it's turbulent, and doing those prayers isn't something I enjoy doing per se.
Right.
It takes a lot,
but it works.
I feel like it's helpful.
It definitely worked. You see, his recovery, Alfred's recovery. Granted, yes, there have been lives that have been lost, but it does help people go through these troubling times. Even if you're not ultra religious during these times, so you do want to turn to something or some sort of faith or some sort of belief, and that's what religion is about. And it's good that you were able to be there for these people. And it sounds like maybe even for yourself.
Yeah, it was just so multifaceted, and it's very interesting that a 20-30 minute Facebook Live video could make people feel together even though they aren't. So I don't know, it's just powerful. I'm just glad that everyone had each other's back. Even when you look through the comments, it's just a lot of people loving on each other and being vulnerable. It really had nothing to do with me. It's just people coming together and reaching out to the Most High, whether they're Christian, Muslim, atheist, who cares? Like, all of us just taking those energies and just bringing it out to the universe and just saying, like, we're humble, we're here, and we just want to grow and be better together. Like, it's important.
Have you always been this spiritual?
It's always been waves and levels, but my family, my great grandfather was a pastor, so it's almost like a family thing at this point. I really got more into it when I had my own personal struggles when I was younger, and I argued a lot about like little things like how's Adam and Eve here? They had 2 kids. How are there a bunch of more kids? This doesn't make sense, Bible. Like, I was one of those people. I was the skeptic child Christian, asking too many questions, being aggravated. And at some point, I realized that if you're gonna live a life on this plane, like, even if you don't believe there's something greater, which I do, but at that time I was struggling with it. It's like, what kind of life are you living? What do you want from your life? And when I started realizing what I wanted equated, at least on a personal level, to what's being taught in Christianity and several other religions, that's when it started kind of clicking. Like, wait a second, I want to be good. I want to be joyful. I want to do something greater than myself. I want to serve others. Like, that's the kind of person I want to be. And in my journey and thinking about switching, like converting to another religion and such, I realized that, at least for me with Christianity, Jesus as my Lord and Savior connected with me in a different way than everything else. So that's kind of where everything spiked right before college.
Right off the bat, when you started wrestling, did you know right away this is something you want to incorporate into your character?
I was very unsure. I was all over the place. I wanted to be just a Bayesian wrestler. You see all the blue and yellow colors. I was going to use my accent, put it on a little more than I need to, talk about mango and flying fish and all kind of thing. But I don't know, like, throughout my first run, I was in a group called the Make It Black. It was very Black power focused, that kind of thing, led by Greg Jones, of all people, actually. And after my injuries, I never really got to be Brother Greatness. I had the cross, but there was no hallelujahs, there was no dancing, no colors. I was just, part of the stable. So when I got hurt and came back and then finally worked for Bronco, and then, that whole group, first person you think of is Bronco, right?
BWF, yeah, of course.
Yeah. But when I started working over there, no one's telling me to be a part of a group. I'm not managing anyone. There's no one saying, hey, this is what you're doing. They just said, oh, yeah, you're wrestling today. So this is what you got. Figure it out. And I was like, great. So I just got to be me. And coming off the head injury, I never thought I was going to wrestle again. So the first thing I'm thinking is my wrestling must be for Christ. So boom, that just goes straight to that. Otherwise, you would have seen a much more confused young man trying to throw mangoes at the crowd, probably.
But, your character exploded. I mean, it's not necessarily a gimmick for you. I mean, yes, it's you, but it's you times 10. And obviously, the fans gravitate towards that because you have a personal connection to this character.
Yes, it's really barely one. You ask anyone who talks to me outside of a show, like, I'm not, neither myself nor the character tries to play like we're the perfect Christian or anything like that. We're just trying to live a very fun life and just make it about and just make it for Christ. That's all it is. And everyone can see that it's a fact. Like, you don't have to speak to me to know, like, no, he's not just kind of doing this. Like, there's more behind it. You can tell.
You obviously, your theme music. I've hit you up before on the side. It's too damn catchy almost. Like I catch myself like your song stuck in my head. Like, God damn it, Brother Greatness. How did that come to be, though? Was that something your own doing? Did someone help you out with the music? Because a part of your character is the music. I think they go hand in hand.
Yeah, definitely. And not to be petty, I just wish more wrestlers kind of did what I'm about to explain. I hate hearing a song and having an emotional connection to something else when I'm trying to watch a wrestler. like, what are we doing here, guys? Well, I'm hearing the Family Matters theme. Like, I wanna focus on you, not her.
Yeah, unless that is the character.
Well, that's different, But for me, I used to come out to Kurt Franklin's Revolution. Awesome song, do you want a revolution? And but my thought process was, copyrights.
Exactly.
That's my first thought. It's terrible for every promoter trying to put up your stuff to have to see a big copyright claim pop up. So, I asked a friend of mine, my friend Corey Douglas. He's one half of a production group called Provider. They're up and coming, trying to do their thing. And back in 2013, before I hurt myself, I was speaking to him. I said, listen, I need theme music. He's not a wrestling fan. He's like, what are you talking about?
Theme music for what?
He's so confused. And I'm like, listen, I just need you to make some really high energy Christian music, like something you'd hear at the beginning of a song service when the praise team comes out, like something just da 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 is the exact sound I made from. And he goes, all right, cool, I got you. And about a month later, he sends me 3 different versions of the same Greatness song, and I literally use all 3 of them just randomly. Like, I never think about it. So there's 3 different versions of the Greatness song, and they all play randomly, especially at BWF. I never know which track they're using.
That's interesting. I feel like, did they all sound like similar? Because I never noticed like
it's remastered versions of the exact same beats. Like, the first one's rougher. Yeah, one of them has like an extra like a little extra snare drum. Like, so they're all a little different.
Huh. Wow. I feel like my mind is blown right now. next shows, I'm gonna have to like figure that out which one's which.
It's like, what's going on here? If you hear the snare drum, that's when that's the best one.
But it's funny, with the entrance songs, the most iconic ones, within like the first note or two, you just know right away who that is. Like, you hear the gong, and right away who you think of, The Undertaker.
Baker, yeah.
And I hear the one beat from yours, and right away I just know Brother Greatness. So obviously it helps with the marketing, it helps with your brand. So kudos to you, man. I mean, that definitely helps complete the package.
Not everyone's going to get signed. I don't know if I ever will, but I think it's very important that what we're doing on this level for these fans, I really feel like it's important for us to give it the best that we have. If you have the access to music, everyone's coming out to music. Do what you can to make it special and different. Because I don't want to hear Rough Riders when I see a wrestler comes. I don't want to hear all these famous songs. I want to know you before you come out. That's what I want. I feel like some people watch my matches, want to see the entrance, and they're like, all right, we're good.
Well, it gets the fans hyped right away because your character's just so over. Obviously, like every show, like I do commentary for with you, whether it's BWF or if it's another show, your character's always so over. And the moment they hear the music, they're on their feet, they're clapping along, and they're going hallelujah with you. It's infectious. I call you a cult leader out there because it seems like that's who you are. You're a cult leader. You're leading these people to Lord knows what.
It's funny, you always say the cult leader thing. In my mind, I'm just leading them to praise. That's it. Whatever you got to do, man. Like, hallelujah just means praise the Lord. You figure out what you're doing with your praise. I know what I'm doing with mine.
That's funny. Obviously, BWF, I mean, we talk about off the air about, you're not necessarily leaving early. Because you're always towards like the later in the card or a lot of times main event as well. You brought eyes to the Cruiserweight division, especially BWF. You've definitely gotten a strong push. What goes into that?
I mean, just with that backstage thing, I feel like with wrestling on every level too. I think from the little 12-year-olds fighting in a park all the way up to Vince and the rest doing what needs to be done in the largest company. I don't want to call it petty, but I feel like it's very just like, this is what seems to work. Let's do it. Or I think this would work. Let's do it. For me, my first year at BWF, which I think a lot of people don't realize, I'm not inherently a BWF guy. I turned into one. I wasn't trained there. That's not my first home. But now that's who I'm considered as, for better or worse, usually for better. And I lost 10 out of 11 of my first matches at BWF. I just straight losses. There's one win in the middle there, and then the Cruiserweight tournament happened. At the tournament, I won the championship. So that decision was almost kind of made due to how often I went to training, because I was training there at the time, how much I was helping other workers, showing up on time, leaving late. Just that was the decision makers just going, this is the guy who's working the hardest for this, and the crowd cares about him. So here you go. That's really all it was.
Is that always the case though? Because how often do we see people working hard, doing all the right things, getting over with the crowd, but they don't necessarily get that push. Just not necessarily a knock on you, but it was just saying other people, they do put in the work. Not even just talking indie scene. You see even in WWE. I mean, we've seen it with Zack Ryder time and time again, over with the crowd, putting in the work. Never got to push.
It's just a matter of getting the opportunity, because a lot of guys I didn't think I was winning. I didn't know I was winning the title that night. I found out not even 5 minutes before we went out. Like, I had no idea. I thought I was going to be in the Rumble when I was on my way to the show. I didn't know. It's really just a matter of them giving people an opportunity. They saw how the crowd reacted to me despite what was going on with booking. Like, I was losing. I was just there to put somebody else over. So they gave me the opportunity. I ran with it. And they kept booking around me. I got to give them great credit for just always just making sure I'm with quality people so that we can tell great stories. Chris Cage, loved that story. Don't not in love with the man. We had, that was a very real story, honestly.
How so?
That's pretty much a shoot tale, because he was the guy who was helping me when I first started wrestling in 2011. He was the one who was going through roles with me, bumps, him and Whiplash. They put me through everything. And when we started getting to know each other, we bumped heads a lot on everything, religion, politics, anything involving women, wrestling. We disagree on everything. So it's a very real story with that one. Me and Mantis, it was very real.
The chemistry in the ring, though, is off the charts, though. I mean, you guys told the story very well. It looks like the story is even evolving more so. But, your chemistry with Chris Cage, with Mantis, even, I feel like with anyone you've been in the ring with, Nikos Rikos, I mean, it's just off the charts.
Yeah, again, it's really just about the energy that people are putting through. I kind of do the same. The joke for a while is I always do the same thing when I hit the ring. But for me, from planning matches, everything, I just want to see what my person wants. And the minute I know what they want to do, I'm just gonna plug in the Brother Greatness stuff. We don't need to do 1,000 Spanish flies and shooting star presses to make the crowd care. That's all I care about. The crowd needs to care, and I want my guy to feel like he got everything he wanted to do, not moves, just in terms of story, out for the world to see. And if you get both of those at the same time, you're always going to win.
I have to say, say what you will about what I say in commentary. I do respect the hell out of you, what you do in the ring. You do bring it time and time again. I hate to admit this, especially to you, but I do look forward to seeing your matches anytime we go to BWF.
That's sweet, my brother. Next time I come, I'll pass you across on the way.
Oh, let's not go that far. Me and
you and Buddy, man, we're going to be the greatest commentary team ever, all three of us.
Well, the last show, actually, you did join me on commentary for a little bit there.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun for a certain period of time. I was enjoying myself. They called me a snake. I'm like, what did I do?
Hey, you know what? I think of something right away, and I go with it.
Okay,
I call it as I see it. Now, Brother Greatness, kind of backtracking a bit though, when you told you were getting that push, you said, you didn't even think you're going to be in that tournament. You thought you were going to be in a Rumble. What was going through your head?
I didn't have much time to have anything go through my head. I finished the second match. The final match against Mantis was coming up. I never met the guy. I've never seen him before in my life. He comes to the back. Mantis, tall guy, ripped. So I'm talking to his abs, pretty much. And Booker pulls me to the side and goes, "Hey, listen, you're winning." I'm like, "I am?" And then he goes, "Also, you're getting attacked." I'm like, "I am?" And then I get pulled again. So this is what you're getting attacked.
Oh yeah, my boys attacked you. Satuchin attacked you that night.
Yeah,
I do remember that. That was a great night.
Jaden gave me a Canadian destroyer. I'm like, I am not that large. You had so many other options. Why did he have to drill my head into the mat? Unnecessary.
Oh man, you just bring back so many great memories there.
Yeah, but I didn't have time to think. By the time we didn't even call the match. Like the music hit, I was like, oh, where's my flag? Like there was nothing in my mind. Nothing went through my mind until all the segments and everything was over. Everyone was finally leaving the ring after the match and the assault and the promo after the assault and all this other stuff. And I just looked at the title. I see people starting to make their way out. I'm thinking the lights are going to turn on any second. And then it hit me, and I just started weeping like a baby. So.
Wow. The same thing kind of happened with Dominic Dinero. Felt the same way. Didn't necessarily know what was going on into it. We had our feelings that TJ Marconi was going to win, was going to retain, and next thing you know, I didn't even know too. Like I took a spot from TJ afterwards. I'm down the ground, selling, and I hear 1, 2, 3, and I hear our music being played. I'm like, what? What's going on here? Is this a mistake? Go in there celebrating. It's like, all right, nothing's happened. We won. Dominic Dinero won. He's a new champion. It's just like surreal.
Yeah, and that's the word swerve. I had no clue either. I'm not the biggest fan of the Sassugians for good reason, but Dom's a little different. Dom's first match was against me in FTW. Like, I've seen his entire journey for the most part. I mean, despite everything, like, just seeing him with singles gold and being the biggest one and in my home, yeah, that was really special, man.
No, absolutely. Same here, man. Like, there's some pictures of us celebrating around, and you see my face. Those are like true reactions right there. It's like shock, happiness. Like, is this real? It was awesome to see, and I can imagine it was probably the same for you after you won your Cruiserweight Championship there at BWF. But talking more about BWF in general, I mean, you've been part of it for some time. I'm relatively newer to the game than you are, as far as to the company. Walk us through the evolution of BWF.
BWF was around forever. Bronco was really just giving an opportunity to young guys who wanted to be wrestlers to get trained to be wrestlers. Really with this level in mind, like not really thinking about them getting signed, just almost like a beat the streets kind of situation. It's grown from that because after a while, BWF got kind of a sour reputation due to the fact that a lot of the kids there would go be like, yeah, I'm a trained wrestler, and try to play cute about it. And then sometimes they even find their way on a show. And you couldn't see that. It's like, you are not supposed to be there. And, Bronco and all those who were involved at the time, like, evolved and started getting more quality people in. But then the shows were too long. Like, there were a lot of very small, more of a managerial list of issues. And then over the last, probably since, I'd say 2018, you start seeing the evolution because the management team had more help. That's really all it was. It was just more help to make things happen. Putting on great commentary. Shout out to Buddy.
Whoa.
No offense, Matt.
Oh, man. I'm hurt. I have feelings too,
He's very snazzy. But long story short, there's just been such a paradigm shift because previously it just wasn't as much management. There were too many matches. You had too many people who found a way on the roster who honestly weren't ready to compete. Now a lot of the fat has been cut. It's a lot more focused. The people who are there are driven and really want the company as a whole to grow, not just themselves. And I think you see that a lot. Be it Strong, with the Sassugians, with Nikos Ricos, a lot of the people who are there every single show, put on their best face. They're from the start to the end of the show. I mean, it's a whole paradigm shift, and I think it's heavily underrated. It upsets me heavily because right now in New York, there's a whole bunch of shows that happen out of Outslide. No disrespect to any of them, but in New York, in New York City at least, no disrespect to Long Island or upstate or anything, but it's really Hog, Warriors, and BWF. Like, those are really, BCWs in Jersey now. So Those are the three right now. Hog, amazing, awesome. They bring in amazing names, great talent, best show in New York, blah, blah, blah. How often are they running? Warriors, bringing great names. They're running in Brooklyn, Staten Island. It's great. Some shows are really, really good. Some shows, BWF, every time you have come to a show in the last 2 years, with very rare exception, has been really knock out the park. Full shows. Josh Glide's return, sold the place out, had to send 35 people on home because most of them came to see Josh Glide. Like, it's a huge paradigm shift. And I think if it was anywhere except for the Bronx, I feel like people would be praising it as though it was the level of HOG or as though it was Warriors on its best day.
That's interesting.
I sincerely believe that.
You know,
and anyone could take me to task on that. Anyone can take me to task on that. I will be the first one to run my mouth about it.
I believe that too, actually. Like, someone actually had a conversation with me about BWF and was singing our praises actually quite a bit, and they compared us actually to NWA, and I felt that. I felt like that was a good comparison because, you know, we do have that closeness there. As far as, like, you know, we don't have necessarily a big arena, a big space, but, you know, we have that almost like a studio space there.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it's intimate.
And it's intimate. It's storytelling. It's great action in the ring. Even how Danny Walsh shoots it too. I mean, it just screams professional.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I mean, I love BWF. It's become a home to me. I never thought I would call the Bronx home, especially a boy coming from Long Island.
I'm a Brooklyn boy, man. Calling the Bronx home hurts a little bit sometimes.
It's a little weird. It's a little weird,
Yeah,
but here we are. You know, it's just I'm glad, like, you know, people that come, people know about BWF. They know what's up. They know what they're getting in for, and I feel like every show just grows and grows and grows. So the product's still the same. I think the product's still the same, but you're getting great storytelling, you're getting great action in the ring. But I think storytelling goes a long way. It's stuff that you don't necessarily see in other promotions.
Yeah, a lot of promotions, they'll tell stories with whoever runs the show, maybe their top guy, maybe a name's going to be around for 6 months or something. You'll do something with them, and even with that, it's usually not that deep. The Bronx Wrestling Federation really only has one person you can call a name, in Steve Mack. That's about it. Like, the rest of it, no disrespect to any of us, including myself, but we're not TV guys, you know, we're not indie legends. We're workers who've been around for a certain amount of years, have busted our butts, went to several different schools, all congregated to BWF for some reason or the other. And we can't just say, hey, listen, you know, Scorpio Sky is going to be here. Like, that's not happening with us. You're not going to get, I mean, Escape from New York, you never know. But with the exception of that show, it's just so-and-so's return. Brother Greatness and Nikos are killing each other. You know, Tyree and Mac are actually killing each other. Like, you know, it's as he said, it's all story-driven stuff. And if you become invested in their work, and I work everywhere. I don't only work BWF now. I'm in Jersey. I'm in Delaware. I'm all over the place. But with these people, every single segment is driven by story. Especially in the women's division, Cruiserweight, the tag, everyone has something.
Yeah, and I think that's what keeps people coming back, you know, because with great storytelling, how can you not help fall in love with these characters?
If I was a fan, I would want to be at BWF every month. I think my biggest issue would be like, well, one, I'm in the Bronx, and two, all right, when the show start and end, because I got stuff to do.
And again, I have to say, with the crowd, it's growing. Like, the last couple of shows we've had, I would say few shows we had, have been sold out, standing room only. Which is phenomenal. Kicking
people out. So literally sending money away. That's amazing.
So the word is getting around. Like, you know, BWF is the place to be, and I'm just so glad for them.
Imagine if we become one of the larger places on the independent scene, like on the level of a Beyond and Northeast Wrestling. I won't bring up CZW right now, but, you know, just on that kind of totem pole, you know.
So then, what brought you there?
It was kind of a mix of two things. At the time, I was at FTW. You know, you pay like a yearly, you don't pay it yearly up front, but you do a whole contract thing with them when you're part of their school, blah, blah, blah. So I had a lot of personal stuff going on. I did not want to be lined out in a contract. I just finished my previous one, but I needed to train because I was starting to wrestle other places. So I said, you know what? The Bronx is the only place that you can just show up, pay a ring fee. If you're already a trained professional wrestler, get your reps in, and, you know, go on about your business. So I went one day before the anniversary show. I forget what year it is at this point. I think 2017. And I see Bronco. Bronco's there like, hey, that's you know how Bronco speaks. I'm doing my thing, laughing, carrying on, but really working hard, about 3 hours of work. He pulls me to the side. He goes, hey, tomorrow there's an anniversary show. You want to work? You got gear? I'm like, I do, sir. So, you know, I came the next day to the Battle Royal. And I worked every single Bronx show from then on.
Wow. You know, Brother Greatness, you know, we talk about being the guy. You know, in WWE, you know, we've seen two tops talent, you know, step away. So Roman Reigns and Becky Lynch pretty much back to back. In a locker room, when you see that, when you see the top guy or woman go down, what goes through your mind as a talent?
I'm trying to think if I really got to experience that. Maybe, you know, with TJ's heart situation, I guess would probably be the closest thing. But honestly, I think for me personally, I don't know if it's the same for everyone else. My thought process is go out, do your job, stay present for opportunity. So if the top guy goes down, it doesn't really change anything for me in terms of like what I have to do in terms of work, because the top guy wasn't doing the work I was doing, and I'm not gonna go out there and act all of a sudden like I'm doing what he does, because it wouldn't be authentic. My job is simple: connect with the crowd and put on a good wrestling match and do everything that's important prior to that, promos, whatever promotional stuff needs to be done, etc.
Does it change
whether the top guy there or not, doesn't matter.
Does it change the vibe in the locker room though? Does it become more competitive when you're vying for that spot?
Yeah, a little bit, because you'll get a few guys who kind of just let it be known. It's like, oh well, I guess I have to take care of the situation. Everyone just kind of like, shut up. The guys who want those spots or deserve those spots know that they're next in line. So all you really see is maybe the people like the younger guys like myself and Pryor might turn to like the guys who we know are about to be, the next face or what have you, and just say, hey, listen, I'm having my match third. Can you look at it? Give me some pointers. So that's probably the biggest change. Who are you going for advice now?
Interesting.
Yeah, and that usually tells you who's going to be the big dog now.
It's almost like there's already a second person in place to take over that spot. From my
yeah, I think it's not spoken, but it's just kind of understood. It's like, oh yeah, that's the dude.
Yeah, because politics always are involved, and not just wrestling, but anything. But we all know wrestling is very political.
Absolutely. I mean, you called me a politician last show, but we won't talk about that.
Do you just write down everything I see? I forget all this stuff.
Nah, I recall, my brother. I forgive. I cannot forget.
So I'm getting underneath Brother Greatness' skin. Yes, you made my day.
I wouldn't say into my skin, but you're definitely in my cerebellum.
The fact that you remember this, it means I'm getting underneath your skin. You just say it. I'm getting underneath your skin.
Whatever you say, brother, man. I plead the fifth on that one. 3+2. I'm good.
I take it then, either you have an insane memory or you do watch back your matches quite a bit.
I watch back as much as I have time to anything I do. I make sure I see it. There's certain guys I don't want to miss their stuff, certain guys and gals, but I try to watch everything back for the promotions that I'm like in love with, for lack of a better term. BWF, Test of Strength in Connecticut. I'll watch back everything that happens there, because I consider myself just like part of the family. I'm not just there to work. I'm part of their success and their failure. So I'm going to watch the entire show, see what's happening. Call somebody, be like, sir, what did you do?
When you watch it back, you watch it for entertainment purposes? Are you watching it to give insight? Or are you watching to learn? Like, what are you watching for?
Probably a little bit of all. I think the biggest thing for me is just understanding where the crowd is for places like that. That's probably the biggest thing, the reason I watch a show start to finish on our level. It's hard to study people who are on your level, because they're going to make the mistakes you make. They'll do the same right things you do. So that's a little difficult. But I like to see what the crowd is going through. So it's like, what are they reacting to? What are they booing? How do they feel? And it kind of dictates what I kind of want to do on later shows, or how I want to present myself. So I'm like, okay, they reacted cool to, like, Nikos came out with the Star Wars thing. The reaction was like so-and-so. I know there's a reason for it. Let me change this about my appearance. How about I come out with the robe instead of the flag? How about I do that? And just see what I'm playing with, what color schemes they seem to be reacting to despite the wrestler. So it's like, oh, they like purple right now. I'm going to come out in purple. And it's weird to say, but I've literally done that on the anniversary show. I came out in purple because I saw that they had a weird reaction towards, I think it was something different Karen was wearing. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And it's color psychology. So just trying to pick up what's going on with the crowd. Then probably secondarily would be learning. And entertainment purposes, the only people I watch for entertainment, to be completely honest, is Too Good. Because they are hilarious.
Oh my god, it's just like, you and Too Good. It's just a whole group of annoying individuals.
They are hilarious. Their interviews and promos are hilarious, no matter how you feel about them. Me and Ace don't get along, but he is hilarious.
Well, listen, sometimes it takes a lot for me to not smile a little bit after what they say, but it still grinds my gears the fact that I lost that bet and I had to wear a stupid Too Good t-shirt on all my social media platforms, so I'm still bitter about that.
It looks good on you, though.
Oh, shut your mouth.
I'm just saying.
All right. Well, I was having a good time, but now I'm going to cut the interview short. I just want to see, though, for our fans listening, where can they find you on social media?
Social media, you want to find me, Brother Greatness. Type that in on YouTube. I will pop up. There is a full YouTube channel. Brother Greatness via Facebook. Brother Greatness 2012, the year I started wrestling. So Brother Greatness 2012 for Instagram. Be Greatness 27 for the Twitter. You can even email me if you have something pertinent. brothergreatness@gmail.com. I accept bookings, prayer requests, anything like that. Please feel free to shoot that over. Say those are the big ones, yeah?
Well, Brother Greatness, cheers to you. You going to stay around for last call?
Absolutely.
Damn, I was hoping you would say no, but here we are. We're going to do that.
You know, Buddy would want me to.
I know he would.
This is Brother Greatness. Thank you for listening, but we are not done yet. Stay tuned for Last Call.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time I need to announce it's last call at the bar.
Well, welcome back, everyone, to Last Call. I am here with Brother Greatness. This is going to be an interesting one, man. I've never done with Last Call with somebody I don't like before. So,
Lovely. You're always a sweetheart.
all right, are you ready for this?
Yes, sir, my brother.
All right, so Brother Greatness, what is the first thing you notice in a person?
First thing I notice, their facial movements in terms of their overall reaction. You can tell a lot when you look in someone's eyes, like, what are they looking at? What are they focused on? You get everything between how they feel about the situation they're in, and based on that, you figure out who they may be as an individual prior to the first word they say.
Damn, that's deep. So next, what is the worst injury you've ever had?
I broke my skull in 2014. It was a kind of we just call it like a training incident, but I took an elbow to the center of my head, cracked my skull, nice fracture, mostly to the left side, took a major surgery, and I was out for about 2.5 years. I didn't think I was going to wrestle again. Easily the worst injury I've ever had.
Damn. Wow. That's pretty bad. Even I feel bad for you.
I mean, there's a reason I'm coming out screaming hallelujah.
I understand that now. What is your favorite quote?
My favorite quote, that's, we fall down, but we get back up.
Hell yeah. I think that's actually something much needed right now. What's the worst insult you've ever received? I hope it's me. I hope it's from me.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I know you're definitely 2, 4, and 6. I think you're definitely up there. Calling me a snake is pretty rough, brother.
What's number one then? What's number one if it's not me?
Probably from Miss JL Kodo. It wasn't anything that was verbally stated. She sent a picture of the big Champa from Mario 64 and a picture of me with my mouth agape, just like the stupid thing. I tried to turn the other cheek, but I was heavily offended. That woman comes for me violently like she's you on commentary.
I feel like she comes for everyone. I haven't suffered her wrath yet, but I've seen her remarks, and she's vicious.
Yeah, she's rough. I mean, she's vicious. Don't call her Vicky, but JL is something else.
She definitely is. What's your biggest pet peeve?
I cannot stand tardiness.
Ooh.
I can't do it. If you want to see Brother Greatness not act so brotherly or so great, just plan to meet me someplace at 7 and show up at 8:35. It's going to be a problem.
So how do you handle the wrestling locker room? There's always someone that's late.
Yeah, that's why I'm usually all sweaty and going crazy by the time I walk into the locker room. I mean, if you have the time, speak to Greg Jones, Dashin' D1000, Karen Bam Bam, Talia Jeanette, and just ask them, like, tell me about a Brother Greatness car ride and tell me if you've ever been late. Trust me, they have felt my wrath.
You're throwing him underneath the bus then. Jesus. What is your favorite channel?
Is that current or past? Like, it
all
can
time.
be anything?
All time.
All time? UPN 9.
UPN 9 going old school.
UPN, man. I had the Parkers and watch Thursday Night SmackDown right after that. It was a beautiful situation.
For those are new to the wrestling game, Thursday Night SmackDown was the original programming on UPN 9.
The more you know, get the little rainbow.
You know. Who was your childhood idol growing up?
I don't know if this counts as growing up because it's more of a teenager thing, but I loved Chris Rock.
Okay.
I stole so many of his quotes. Like, I think he's the greatest comedian. He tells you the truth.
Did you see his latest one on Netflix?
Yeah, Tambourine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a little soft, and I didn't really like his what he had to say with respect to Christianity and Christ. I wasn't a big fan of that part.
Okay.
He had some big W's in that. I just got to fast forward about 20 minutes. Starts talking about the church a certain kind of way.
Now, what's your favorite wrestling move other than your own?
Honestly, man, probably a good old-fashioned teardrop suplex. I love a good teardrop suplex. You don't see it a lot.
I haven't seen a good one in a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. Michael's had a beautiful one.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was his finisher for a reason, right?
Yeah, it was beautiful. You'll see Benoit and Angle throw those out. Taz had a variation of it too. Like just a beautiful suplex. No one ever does it. Everyone wants to just run straight into a German. Nah, that awkward landing on the neck, the arch, the way the hips have to shoot out. It's like the perfect wrestling move.
I haven't even seen it on the indie scene.
Never happens. I think I've literally executed one ever in Connecticut in front of 20 people. It's a beautiful super. It was against Karen Bam Bam, so that's special.
Oh wow, yeah, those 20 people were in for a treat there. Now, Brother Greatness, describe to me your perfect day.
Wake up, hour-long workout. Let's get like a 1 hour long church service, not a Catholic church service, like a Baptist one. A lot of music, a lot of excitement. Me and my girl jumping in the car, driving down to like anywhere warm, have a wrestling match, leave early, which I never get to do, and then go out and have breadfruit cuckoo and flying fish.
Okay.
Me and my lady. That would probably be the way to go.
You just painted me a pretty nice picture there. I'm not gonna lie. I dig that.
Praise the Lord, get some wrestling done, good food, good company.
Hell yeah, man. Now with that, actually I do have a bonus question for you, because we're both Jets fans. Who is your favorite Jet of all time?
I feel like a lot of people agree with me on this. Thomas Jones.
All right, respect. He was a workhorse for us for quite a bit.
Absolutely. Absolutely loves his running style. Like I felt like you should just keep the rock in that man's hands, man. Love Thomas Jones.
All right, Brother Greatness. That's all the time we have for today. I hate you just a little less now after this. So for everyone else that was listening, be sure to stay tuned for next week for another episode of Shot of Wrestling.
Hallelujah.
Hey baby, I hear the bell ringing, hip tosses and body slams. Oh my. And maybe you seem a bit confused, yeah baby, but I got you pinned. Ha 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 ha. But I don't know what to do when I see them with that golden case. They're cashing it in. Authority all in my face. What is a man to do? Good night, everybody.